Hello. Now we are going to start with biological classification. It is quite easy to understand, but it's been very tricky for me to begin with, and to revise it was most difficult. So I have made notes which could be helpful. First, there are five criteria for kingdom classification. First is cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, and phylogenetic relationship. And five kingdom classification was given by R.H. Whitaker, and before that, two kingdom was given by Linnaeus. It was based on presence and absence of cell wall, and after Whitaker gave, there was six kingdom and three domain system, and we will. This is the NCERT chart which they have given. It is these are from here itself, and they have given the overview, and this is important because they have asked many type of questions from here. And first one is Monera. They are solely consisting of bacteria. They are cosmopolitan, and they are extremophiles. They are simple, complex behavior, four shape, that is cocci, vibrio, bacilli, and spirilla. Majority of them are heterotrophs and depend on dead organisms. There are two types which they have given in NCERT. First is Archaebacteria, and second one is Eubacteria. Archaebacteria, in which saline areas which we find are halophiles, hot springs are thermoacidophiles, and marshy area and ruminants of stomachs of ruminants, which is methanogens. Next is Eubacteria. There are three types which they have given: chemosynthetic, photosynthetic, heterotrophic bacteria. Both depend on, one is chemical nature and one which can synthesize its food on its own. Both are autotrophs. Chemosynthetic eubacteria are those which will oxidize in organic matter. They recycle nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and sulfur. Next one is photosynthetic. They fix the atmospheric nitrogen. Heterocyst is present, like examples Anivina and Nostoc. Next is heterotrophic bacteria, which are most abundant, and they are found in curd, and they are used to make antibiotics, etc. One of them is mycoplasma, in which we have to remember cell wall is absent. They are smallest living cell. They are pathogenic to animals and plants. Next is protista. They are primarily aquatic, unicellular, eukaryotic, and they do not have defined boundaries. If the categorization of an organism is not decided, then they can put in the protista kingdom. There are four types: diatoms, which are also known as golden algae, desmids. These are mostly photosynthetic. Cell walls is like the soap box shaped, and which has been embedded with silica in it, and which forms the diatomaceous earth, and these are also the chief producers in the ocean. Next comes the dinoflagellates. Gonulax is the example for that, and which causes red tide. These are mostly marine photosynthetic. Dinoflagellates can be found in yellow, green, brown, blue, or red. We should remember these have uh, cellulosic plates, and there are two flagella coming out. One is longitudinal and another one is transverse. And next are iglinoids. These are mostly freshwater, which are basically stagnant in nature, and these might be autotrophic, heterotrophic, or mixotrophic. These have pellicle. Cell wall is instead of cell wall, they have pellicle, which is proteinaceous. This euglena is the connecting link between plants and animals. So, if the question comes, what is the connecting link between plants and animals, we should know that it's a euglena. Next comes slime mold. It's where the tricky parts a bit it is tricky. We should remember in unfavorable condition it will undergo sexual reproduction and form fruiting bodies. In favorable condition that is asexual, but mostly other organisms is reverse. Unfavorable they form plasmodium or form the cyst formation will takes place, and inside which they form multiple small pores or smaller organisms. But it's in slime molds it's a reverse, so we have to remember this. And the spores only have the true walls, true cell walls, and pores are spread through the air current. Next comes protozoans. We have to remember there are four types of protozoans. Amoeboid is entamoeba, which causes dysentery, amoeboic dysentery, which have silica shells. And next is flagellated trypanosoma, which causes sleeping sickness. And next is ciliated, which is paramecium, they which have gullet formation will be there through which it can collect the food. Next is porozoan, which is plasmodium. Protozoans, their general characteristics are these are heterotrophs. These can be predators or parasites. Primitive relative of animals. These are primitive relatives of animals. And connecting link which we have known is euglena. Connecting link is euglena, but primitive relatives of animals is protozoans. Next comes kingdom fungi. These are cosmopolitan, mostly favored by warm and humid conditions like marshy area where they can grow, like bread mold or fungal filaments like mushrooms and many other fungi. These are mainly heterotrophs, saprophyte, parasitic, symbiotic are its nature. Saprophytes can be moist bread or rotten fruits, parasites, white spots on mustard leaves, and wheat rust, Puccinia. Symbiotic relationship is found in lichen, mycorrhiza. Lichen, it's fungi plus algae. We can remember as MF, which is mycobiont, is fungi, and other vice versa. We can remember PA, personal assistant, that is phycobiont, algae. We know last is A, so it is autotroph, and other thing will be heterotroph. And mycorrhiza is fungus plus roots of pinus, and habitat of fungi is very warm and humid condition should be there, and it's a cosmopolitan, it can grow everywhere. Fungi are mostly filamentous except yeast, which is unicellular, not filamentous. And hyphae might be septate or aseptate. Aseptate means multinuclear condition, septate means singular. This will be the hyphae. If the septate will be there, it will be uninucleate. If the septate is not there, whole cell will be multinucleated, and hence aseptate is multinucleate, septate is uninucleated. Cell wall, we have to remember, it is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. Reproduction, it takes place through three ways: vegetative, sexual, asexual. This is how the fungus will be there, and this is the mycelium, and how fruiting body will arise from the mycelium. And it's small trick which I remember. This is ABC. I have remember ABC. So first I write asexual, sexual, exogenous, endogenous. Make the table. Then I write A B C D. A B C. Okay, and that's how I remember. We can't do anything. And A for Ascomastris, Ascocarp. B for Basidospores, Basidocarp, Conidiospore, and endogenous is Sporangiospore or Zoospore. And vegetative reproduction, fragmentation, fission, budding. And asexual, you can see here how it will just be separated from each other. Each cell will multiply and again they will grow on their own. Next, how sexual will take place. Mycelium will produce the gametes which are single M, and which will fuse together and form dikaryon. Means more than one nucleate for formation will take place, and those nucleus will fuse together. Nucleus will fuse together and form a single nucleus, which is larger and has 2n content in it. And this nucleus will further divide and meiosis takes place and forms the spores. And this spores will be converted into mycelium. Next, classification is based on morphology, spore formation, and fruiting bodies, not on nutrition. Not on nutrition. Next, the fungus in which sexual reproduction are known and not known. Not known, deuteromastes. When it is known, it can be categorized into two: aseptate and septate. How I remember is A comes first and nothing next. So aseptate and septate, and in here there is no sexual reproduction known. So D. And next, phycomastes will be aseptate. Aseptate is single, just A1, so one only. Septate, ascomastes, and basidomastes, and last is deuteromastes. In fucomastes there are three: mucor, rhizopus, albugo. Rhizopus is bread mold, albugo is mustard parasite. Ascomastes, penicillium yeast, aspergillus, claviceps, neurospora, morels, and truffles. Basidomastes is agaricus, mustilago, puccinia. And next, deuteromastes is alternaria, colicotrichum, trichoderma. Mucor, rhizopus, albugo. These are simple, and how I remember deuteromastes is there are it's a bit long name, so that's how I check it to remember. And we will summarize these four classes. So I will start the way like fucomastes, ascomastes, bestio, deutero. First I will tell the general characters, next we will go asexual and sexual. In fucomastes, it's mostly aquatic, on decaying wood. These are obligate parasites on plants, not on animals. Obligate parasites on plants. Next, ascomastes, mostly multicellular. These are rarely unicellular, like example yeast. In ascomastes, we can find like which are widely used in bakeries and penicillium for medicine. Next is neurospora, as in laboratory they use. Morels and truffles, very small in quantity, they use in food. And next, basidomastes, these are bracket fungi. Ascomastes is sac fungi. These grow in soil, trees, stumps, and these can be found as parasites. Mycelium is branched and septate. We have categorized them as septate, aseptate, and in which the sexual reproduction is known and not known. If a fungi which is newly discovered, if they cannot categorize if it is what it can be or it is having a sexual reproduction or not, they will put into the deuteromastes. It's like dustbin, we can say, for the fungi. They will just throw in if they don't know anything. Next, deuteromastes. Here mycelium is branched and septate. Everything or anything other than fucomastis is branched and separate. Separate and branched, or aseptate or unbranched. And next, asexual reproduction. Here, endogenous formation of sporangium will take place, and conidiophore will be in the ascomastis. Here, vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation, budding, and fission. Here, the sporangium can be two types: motile and non-motile. Non-motile is aplanospores, and motile is zoospores. Motile means which can move around, and non-motile means they which cannot be moved around on its own. They need some external current to flow. In the Deuteromastis, vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation, which they are given in NCERT, and asexually is through conidia, which is exogenous. We have to remember Deuteromastis, sexual reproduction takes place, but the sex organs are absent. Sex organs are absent in Deuteromastis, but sexual reproduction takes place, and asexual spores are absent in Deuteromastis. And here in Deuteromastis, as sexual reproduction is not known, so it's absent. In Fucomastis, there are three types: isogamous, anisogamous, oogamous. Isogamous, both gametes are equal and non-motile. Anisogamous, one is more bigger than the other. It's generally bigger one is female and smaller one is male. In oogamous, there is larger female gamete and smaller motile male gamete. Next is Plantae. This is extensively discussed in Kingdom Plantae. Plant kingdom, so it's not much given here, but we have to remember parasite plants is Cuscuta, and insectivorous is bladderwort, Venus flytrap, and pitcher plant. Plantae kingdom is divided into two parts. One is diploid sporophyte and haploid gametophyte. Haploid is gametes, so haploid gametophyte, diploid sporophyte. In Animalia, we have to remember two things generally. Mode of nutrition is holozoic, and food is reserved as glycogen or fat. Next, we will study about virus, viroids, prions, and lichens. Virus, we have to very much remember these points because they have been asking like multiple statements have been given. A, B, C are correct, or B, C, D are correct. Like this, we have to remember this, and it's important. Virus, this is not truly living, it's acellular, obligate parasite, and outside this is the living cell. Consider this as living cell. This is the virus. If it's inside, it's living. If it's outside, it's crystalline, then it's not living. Next, viruses have protein, nucleic acid, which is whose genetic material is infectious, and protein part, which is this is the protein part, and inside is nucleic acid. This is what infects the other organisms, but the protein part, it's ineffective. It's just the covering around this nucleic acid to protect it. This nucleic acid might either be DNA or RNA in one virus. It cannot be both. Which virus which infect plants is single-stranded RNA. Bacteria is double-stranded DNA. Next, infect animals, ssRNA, dsRNA, dsDNA. How I remember is I put in a order plants, bacteria, and animals. Plants, bacteria, animals. Plants is single-stranded RNA where mutation is highly, it means more. And next is bacteria. DS, DNA. I write these both in the animal. And again repeat DS, RNA. This is how I remember. And next, protein part which covers the nucleic acid is called as capsid, which is more made up of smaller subunits known as capsomeres. Okay. Next, disease caused by viruses. Animals, mumps, smallpox, herpes, influenza, AIDS. In plants, mosaic formation, leaf rolling, curling of leaf, yellowing, vein clearing, stunted growth, etc. And few scientists they have given the names we have to remember. Or DJ Ivanovsky, he coined the term virus, and he said venomous fluid, the virus smaller than bacteria. He said he passed through a strain. This is bacterium strain which catches the bacteria. This fluid passed it through and still had that virus content in it, so he called this as virus or venomous or poisonous fluid, as it is smaller than the bacteria. Next, MW Bijarnik, contagion vivum fluidum. It is the infectious living fluid. And next, VW Stanley, first to crystallize the virus made up of largely proteins. Thank you.